Once upon a time, in the heart of Abuja, lived a baddie who never repeated an outfit. Not to a wedding, not to a funeral, not even to buy bread across the street. Many women admired her because her outfits were always a hit, from designer dresses to heels that were over 6 inches. Gabby was a walking fashion magazine, a baddie in all ramifications. Her clothes, shoes and bags were the best of the best. Everything that she wore matched down to the color of her nail polish, and all the young women online slept on her page day and night, hoping for Gabby to pick them as the winner of her weekly wardrobe giveaway. Gabby gave out her clothes weekly to a lucky fan, and thousands of unsuspecting women trooped to her comment section to beg to be picked. However, Gabby had a specific type of women that she chose. She never picked at random. No, Gabby's choices were intentional, deliberate, and darkly precise. She always chose women who reminded her of herself, but not the version that she showed off to the world. They were always the same kind of women, young, beautiful, and desperate to be seen. The ones who would do anything for validation, whose eyes sparkled with a hunger for attention. Girls who measured their worth in likes and comments, whose happiness depended on how many people praised their looks. Gabby did not pick them because they were lucky. She picked them because they were the perfect fit for her evil scheme. Gabby could see their weaknesses, their vanity, their longing to be her. And once they wore her clothes, that longing became possession. Each woman who won her giveaway thought she was chosen out of love, but Gabby knew better, because behind every dazzling outfit was a secret so dark that it could swallow a soul. The girls desperately wanted to win, but what they didn't know was that every dress she gave away carried a piece of her curse, a curse that never left quietly. One morning, Gabby made a post about her giveaway. As usual, she attached images of the outfits, urging her fans to give reasons why they should be picked. In the first 5 minutes, 1,000 comments flooded the post, with desperate women outlining reasons why they should be picked. One stated that her birthday was in a few days and she needed the outfits for her photo shoot. Another went on to state that her husband was cheating on her and that the outfit would transform the way that she dresses to help her regain back her confidence. Several other comments, like the one who believed owning the outfit would finally make her famous, filled the comment section. But out of them all, one caught Gabby's attention. It came from a girl named Dumebi. "Auntie Gabby, I don't have much, but I've always believed one of your dresses could change my life. I want to feel beautiful, even if it's just once." Gabby's lips curved into a slow, knowing smile. "Perfect," she whispered. Dumebi was everything Gabby used to be: young, hungry, naive, the kind of girl who thought beauty could buy peace. She lived in a one-room apartment in Abuja, worked as a makeup apprentice, and spent every spare kobo buying data just to keep up with Gabby's lifestyle. What she did not know was that this decision would end up being the worst decision of her life. She sat in her bedroom reeling in excitement as she read the message that came in from Gabby, inviting her to her home to pick up the outfits. Dumebi screamed so loudly that her mother came rushing into the room, wiping her hands on her dress as she asked why she was screaming. "Mama," Dumebi squealed, waving her phone in the air as she began to speak in excitement. "Gabby picked me! She picked me, Mama! I'm going to her house tomorrow to collect the dresses myself." Her mother frowned as she looked at her confused. "That woman on the internet? Dumebi, you don't even know her. What if it's a scam?" Dumebi rolled her eyes, laughing. "How can Gabby scam me? She's famous. She has millions of followers, and people die to be in her shoes." Dumebi's mother shook her head slowly and began to speak. My daughter, it's not everybody you take clothes from. I have lived long enough to know where to draw the line with gifts. A dress, especially one that has already been worn, is something that we should be cautious about sharing," she said to Dumebi, who laughed and reminded her of all the treat clothes that she had bought for her right from when she was a child. "Mama, you that specializes in buying second-hand clothes from strangers that you have not even met should be the last person advising me about hand-downs. Gabby is too rich and connected to bother about a poor girl like me. What could I possibly have that she would even need? How can Gabby do juju for me?" she said to her mother, who watched as she laughed her ass off. "My daughter, something about that Gabby lady does not sit right with me. I had a dream about you last week, and what I saw was not good," she said to Dumebi, who rolled her eyes as she listened to her mother's dream. "Last week, I had a dream where you died. It was so terrifying that I woke up soaked in sweat, shocked at how real the dream felt." Dumebi forced a laughter as she brushed it off. "Mama, abeg, you worry too much. It's just a dream. This is my time to shine. Don't spoil it for me, oh." Dumebi's mother knew how stubborn her daughter was. She did everything possible to make Dumebi change her mind, but Dumebi was not willing to listen to her mother. She sat there, daydreaming of how beautiful she'd look in Gabby's outfits. Outfits that probably cost more than she had ever seen in her entire life. Dumebi ignored her mother's concerns. The next morning, she dressed up early and stepped out of the house to go catch a bus at the junction. As she stepped out, her mother ran after her, holding a small bottle of anointing oil. "Rub this on your palms and your head. It will protect you," she pleaded with her daughter, who sighed. "Mama, I'll be fine. I don't know why you are so worried," she said as she rolled her eyes and left without the oil. Hours later, she arrived at Gabby's mansion, her jaw dropping at how enormous the mansion was. Inside, Gabby sat by a grand mirror, brushing her hair when Dumebi arrived. She stood up to welcome her, and Dumebi could not stop talking about how she admired and wanted to be like her. Gabby smiled as she told her to sit and wait for her. Dumebi sat down on the couch, her heart thumping with excitement as she looked around the mansion. Everything sparkled in luxury, and even the air smelled so expensive. It was like stepping into a dream that Dumebi did not want to leave. Dumebi sat there for a few minutes, waiting for Gabby to return, when suddenly she heard a loud scream inside the house. Dumebi, filled with so much curiosity, decided to trail the sound. She stood up slowly, clutching her small bag tightly as her heart began to pound like a drum. "Hello," she called softly, her voice trembling, but no response. The scream had come from somewhere down the hallway, and Dumebi was determined to find out where. She approached the door down the hall, but just as she was about opening the door, Gabby walked out with some cloth hangers, a smile plastered on her face as she asked Dumebi what she was doing there. "I was just looking for the restroom," Dumebi muttered as Gabby pointed to the restroom as she locked the door behind her. She walked down to the living room to wait for Dumebi, who joined her shortly after using the restroom. Gabby smiled as she approached. She apologized for making her wait earlier, stating that she had an important call that she had to attend to. "Dumebi, I'm sorry to keep you waiting," she said sweetly. "Now, let's see how these look on you." She handed Dumebi 3 stunning outfits: a shimmering red gown, a gold jumpsuit that sparkled like sunlight, and a flowing black dress that looked almost alive. "Try them on," Gabby said softly. "I want to see how they fit before you take them home." Dumebi's heart fluttered. "Really? I can try them on?" "Of course," Gabby said, her eyes glinting. "Go into that room over there. There's a mirror. Try on the dresses and tell me how you feel." Dumebi rushed into the room, almost tripping over herself. The first dress she wore was the gold one. It hugged her curves perfectly. She gasped, spinning around, unable to believe how stunning she looked. Then she tried on the red gown. The The famous one she had seen on Gabby's page the week before. The moment it touched her skin, she felt like a goddess. Her reflection shimmered faintly, and for a split second, she thought the reflection smiled before she did, but she brushed it off as excitement. When she walked back out, Gabby's eyes lit up not with joy, but with something darker, satisfaction. "You look beautiful," Gabby whispered, circling her slowly like a collector admiring her prize. Dumebi laughed nervously, pulling out her phone. "Let's take a picture together. My followers won't believe this." Gabby's tone snapped cold. "No," Dumebi blinked. "Ah, it's just one selfie," she pleaded, but Gabby was not willing to oblige. "I said no." Gabby's eyes hardened. As she began to speak, "You are only here for the outfit. Keep your phone away." The sharpness in her voice made Dumebi's smile fade. She tucked her phone away, confused and embarrassed. Gabby's mood shifted instantly. She smiled again, warm and glowing as before. "Don't worry," she said softly. "I'll take a few pictures of you myself. You'll love them, I promise," she said as she picked up her phone and began to take some pictures. Gabby took several shots, whispering instructions to Dumebi, who obeyed without complaint. "Turn this way, chin up, now smile wider." Her tone was soothing and almost hypnotic. After a few more flashes, she stopped and lowered her phone camera. "Perfect," she said, revealing that Dumebi looked absolutely divine. Dumebi grinned as her heart swelled with joy. "Thank you so much, Gabby. I am super grateful for this rare opportunity." Gabby smiled faintly and began to say to her, "Just wear them well," she said, "and don't ever lend them out because they are meant for you and you alone." By evening, Gabby helped her pack the clothes neatly into some shopping bags as she called her driver to take her home. When Dumebi arrived at her house, she was still buzzing with excitement. Her mother tried to ask how it went, but Dumebi barely heard her. She rushed into her room, opened the boxes, and carefully hung each outfit on the wall as though they were sacred. Dumebi stood there for hours, staring at the dresses as she called up her friends to spread the news. They talked about the pictures that she would take with them and how she was going to pepper her haters, especially her ex-boyfriend, who called her a village girl who would never make it in life. Dumebi giggled to herself as she imagined his reaction when he saw her new pictures on Gabby's page. After all, Gabby promised to post the pictures online, and Dumebi was so certain that her ex would reel in jealousy when he realizes that Gabby posted her picture on her page. The women she posted in the past all became celebrities overnight. Some got modeling jobs, whilst others got brand deals from brands that transformed their lives forever. Dumebi could not contain her excitement. Her friends screamed over the phone as they showered her with excitement. "Girl, you have arrived. You are now our celebrity friend, the one who rolls with the big girls," they said to Dumebi, who laid on her bed excited as she stalked Gabby's page, waiting for her pictures to be posted. Hours passed, but Gabby had still not posted the pictures, so Dumebi decided to get some sleep, hoping that by the time she wakes up, her life would have transformed. She fell into a very deep sleep and found herself in the middle of a very dark forest. The trees stood like watchmen as Dumebi looked around in terror. She was lying on the cold earth, bound by vines that moved around her body like snakes. Around her were other girls, pale, weak and trembling in complete terror. "Where am I?" she whispered, her voice quivering as she looked up at them for answers. But the girls looked at her with pity and revealed that Gabby sent them all there after they wore her dress. "She's evil," one of them said, revealing that they all were once winners of her online giveaway. "I was one of the winners," the girl said as tears rolled down her cheeks. "She picked me from her live video and I was so elated. I screamed, I danced, because I thought my life would change forever. What I did not know was that Gabby was no ordinary woman. She was an old witch who trapped the souls of young beautiful women whose blood and hair she used to make her evil dresses. The girls wore the dresses, not knowing that they were binding their souls to her. Gabby was not a young woman. She was an old witch who used the girls to remain young. Allen, the girls that won her giveaway in the past, all died mysteriously as Gabby posted completely different people on her page as winners. She had a pool of people who she paid to pretend to be the winners, while she used the real ones for her blood ritual. The forest in that moment groaned as if the trees themselves mourned for the girls whose laughter once echoed in the world of the living. The air was heavy, thick with the scent of wet earth and sorrow. Shadows moved even when the wind stood still. Dumebi's heart pounded like a drum in her chest. "No," she whispered, shaking her head. "You're lying. Gabby cannot be a witch." "She is," one of the girls interrupted, her voice hollow. "The woman you saw is not who she appears to be. Her face, her body, her beauty, it all belongs to others. To us." Dumebi stared at her, confusion written all over her face. The girl sighed, her eyes filled with pain. "She steals our youth. Every time she gives away a dress, she binds a soul. She takes our beauty and leaves us trapped here to rot in this forest that feeds her power." Suddenly, the ground began to shake. The vines which once held them twitched violently, tightening around their legs. From the darkness, a soft melodic voice echoed through the forest, a voice so beautiful that it made the heart ache. It was Gabby's voice, and the other girls trembled at the sound of it. "She's coming," the girls whispered as they all began to shake. Gabby appeared, gliding across the ground as though the earth dared not touch her feet. "Ah," Gabby said softly, her smile cold as ice. "Another restless batch. I thought you would have learned by now that beauty has its price." The girls whimpered, trying to break free, but the vines only tightened its grasp as it drew their blood. Gabby's eyes met that of Dumebi. "You," she said, her voice dripping with amusement. "You still have fire. I like that." Dumebi's breath caught in her throat as she asked her what she wanted from her. Gabby tilted her head, her smile widening as she began to speak. "Only what you offered, my dear. Your beauty, your youth. You begged for it, remember? You said one of my dresses could change your life." Her laughter filled the air, so sharp and cruel that Dumebi could feel her stomach tighten. As she raised her hand, a bright light shot from her palm and wrapped around Dumebi's body. Dumebi screamed, her vision blurring as she felt her energy draining, her reflection flickering before her eyes like a broken mirror. Just then, a faint light appeared around her wrist. The thread began to burn as Gabby froze, her smile fading. "What is that?" she hissed. The light grew stronger, spreading from Dumevi's wrist to her entire body. It was warm and strange as Dumevi began to hear her mother's prayers. In that very moment, her mother was down on her knees praying as the storm outside raged like an angry spirit. She prayed for her daughter, begging the Lord to save her from all evil. "Whatever chain has tied my daughter, let it break by fire," she prayed as a huge light began to surround Dumebi. Gabby screamed out in terror as the light began to burn her skin, revealing the evil masked behind her youthful glow. She let out a very terrifying scream as she disappeared into thin air. Dumebi in that moment woke up on her bed, drenched in sweat. She was back in her room, gasping and trembling like a little child. The dresses still hung where she left them, beautiful and still. Her hands shook as she picked up her phone. Dumebi in that moment realized that Gabby had blocked her on social media. Her heart pounded heavily in her chest as she stared at her reflection in the black screen. The same reflection that once made her feel like a queen now made her shiver in fear. She jumped from the bed and ran straight to her mother's room. "Mama!" she shouted breathlessly, flinging the door open. Her mother was still on her knees, her eyes closed, as she whispered softly. The candle beside her flickered, its light bouncing across the wall like holy fire. "Mama," Dumebi's voice broke, her eyes filled with tears. You were right about Gabby." Her mother turned, tears rolling down her face. "I know," she said quietly. "I felt it when the Lord broke the chain. My daughter, that woman is evil." Dumebi knelt beside her mother, sobbing uncontrollably. "She almost took my life, Mama. I saw them. The other girls. They are gone. She killed them all." Her mother held her tightly, whispering prayers over her head. "You're safe now, but you must never go near her again." For a moment, the world felt still, but inside, Dumebi's spirit burned with anger. "No, Mama," she said firmly. "If I stay silent, she'll keep doing this. More girls will die thinking she's their savior." Her mother frowned deeply. "What can you do, my daughter?" she asked Dumebi, who revealed that she was going to expose her. "I'll expose her," Dumebi said, her eyes filled with resolve. "Even if no one believes me, I'll make them see the truth themselves." The next morning, she called her best friend Chioma and told her everything. At first, Chioma laughed. "Babe, calm down. You just had a bad dream." "I'm serious, Chioma," Dumebi snapped. "I saw them. The girls who won before me. They're dead. All of them." Something in her tone made Chioma pause. "Okay, let's check," she said, opening her Instagram. "I'm still following Gabby. Maybe I can see something." Together, they scrolled through Gabby's old posts, her famous giveaways, each with a smiling winner, posing in expensive gowns. But Dumebi froze. "Chioma, look at her. That's not the girl I saw in the forest." They checked another and another. None of the smiling faces matched the ones from Dumebi's nightmare. Chioma swallowed hard as Gabby posted a new picture in that moment. "Wait," Gabby posted again. She said to Dumebi as she clicked the post. A new picture filled the screen of a young woman in a green sequin gown who Gabby posted as her newest winner. Dumebi's blood ran cold as she stared at the image. She could not believe that Gabby posted another woman on her page instead of her. Dumebi in that moment understood what was happening. Gabby was using her giveaway to lure young women to their deaths. She decided to investigate further to find the woman who Gabby had killed with her evil giveaway. Dumebi combed through the comment section of Gabby's past giveaways. She found the women who she saw in the forest and realized that they were all dead. Dumebi felt her stomach twist as she scrolled through their profiles. One after the other, their pages had gone silent. No new posts, no comments, no activity. The last thing they all had in common was a picture of them wearing Gabby's dress and thanking her for changing their lives. But what chilled Dumebi to her core was what she saw next. On each of their pages, Gabby had commented the exact same thing word for word. "You wear it well, darling. Remember, the dress always chooses the right one." Dumebi gasped, dropping her phone. "She's marking them," she whispered, trembling. "She's using those words as a spell." Chioma's face had gone pale. "Babe, this thing is bigger than us, so we have to be smart about this." Dumebi nodded, her mind racing. "Then we'll play her game, but we'll play it better." She spent days studying Gabby's page and her criteria for choosing her girls. Dumebi noticed something similar about all the women that she chose. She realized that the women, including herself, all used a similar word in their comment on her giveaway post. They all stated that they wanted her dress to change their lives. It hit Dumebi like thunder. That was the trigger. Those were the words that sealed their fate. Gabby didn't just choose random girls. She chose those who unknowingly offered their souls through desperation. The realization made Dumebi's skin crawl. She looked at Chioma, her voice trembling. She's not just picking them for beauty, Chioma. She's picking them for their words. Every time someone says your dress will change my life, she uses it to bind them. Chioma covered her mouth, speechless. Jesus. So, all those girls, Dumebi nodded, tears filling her eyes. They gave her permission, just like I almost did. But instead of fear, a slow fire began to burn in Dumebi's heart. She clenched her fist. No, it has to stop. She can't keep getting away with this. That night, Dumebi couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the forest, the vines, the faces, Gabby's glowing eyes. She woke up drenched in sweat, clutching her Bible. By morning, she had made up her mind. She and Chioma devised a plan to expose Gabby once and for all. Dumebi created a fake Instagram page, posing as a naive, beautiful girl from Lagos. They used AI filters and stock photos to make the profile flawless. The name they chose was Vanessa Kings, a supposed fashion enthusiast who adored Gabby. Vanessa commented under Gabby's latest post. Auntie Gabby, your dresses are magical. I wish one could change my life. Just like clockwork, Gabby replied with a heart emoji. Hours later, she sent Vanessa a private message. You have such a bright spirit. Send your number. My team will call you. Dumebi's heart almost stopped when she realized that Gabby had fallen for it. She made up her mind to put an end to Gabby herself. She spoke to her mother, who arranged with her pastor to accompany her to Gabby's house. Dumebi also reached out to a popular Abuja blogger known for breaking celebrity scandals. His name was King Perry. The next morning, Gabby sent her the address and Dumebi set out on her way with them. She arrived at the mansion wearing a camera to capture all that was happening. The atmosphere was thick, as though the air itself was holding its breath. Dumebi stood a short distance from the gate, her palms sweating as the pastor prayed for her and anointed her with oil. The Lord goes before you, he murmured, making the sign of the cross in the air. King Perry adjusted the hidden camera and whispered to Dumebi, just stay calm and remember that the world is listening. He said to Dumebi, who approached the gate and walked in, her heart pounding like a drum. She walked into the mansion, disguised as she met Gabby, who looked so happy to meet with her. Vanessa, she said softly, looking directly at Dumebi, her lips curving in amusement. I knew you'd come, she said to Dumebi, who froze in her tracks. Her disguise was flawless. New wig, makeup, fake lashes, but Gabby had seen straight through her. She called her by her real name, Dumebi, as she tilted her head and smiled. King Perry gasped, his camera lights flickering as he watched the whole scene from his iPad. How did you know? Dumebi stammered, as she began to shake in terror. Gabby laughed lightly, the sound echoing around the walls. Did you really think you could trick me, little one? You should have stayed grateful that I let you leave, she said to Dumebi, who stood there, frozen as the pastor's voice began to echo from the small speaker in her pocket. Dumebi brought out the speaker, as she too joined in the prayer, as they all began to rebuke Gabby, whose body began to burn. Viewers in social media opened their eyes and mouths in shock. As the pastor's voice thundered through the speaker, the air inside Gabby's mansion shifted. The chandeliers rattled, mirrors cracked, and the once perfect scent of perfume turned into the stench of burning flesh. Gabby screamed, her voice sharp enough to pierce the walls. Her beauty began to melt like candle wax, revealing the wrinkled, monstrous face of an ancient woman beneath. Her eyes glowed red, and her skin smoked as the prayers grew louder. Fire of the Holy Ghost, consume every darkness. The pastor's voice roared through the speaker. Dumebi, trembling, raised her voice and joined in the prayer. Whatever power she used to tie souls, break now. Gabby staggered backward, her hair turning to ash. You foolish girl, she shrieked, Do you know how long I've lived? I am beauty itself. No, Dumebi cried. You're a lie. With one final shout of Holy Ghost fire, a blinding light burst through the mansion, throwing Gabby to the ground. She screamed as flames engulfed her body, her voice fading into the walls. King Perry's camera caught everything. The screams, the lights, the collapse, and within hours, the video went viral. The baddie course trended across every platform. The internet that once worshipped Gabby now trembled at her name. Police stormed her mansion but found only ashes and a single burnt heel. Days later, Dumebi burnt the dresses and apologized to her mother for not listening to her. She learned her lessons the hard way, that some gifts are simply traps wrapped in shiny paper. The lessons to be learned from this story are that not all that glitters is gold. Beauty without wisdom is a curse, and desperation can blind a person faster than darkness ever could. Envy is a quiet poison. It starts with admiration and ends with destruction. So guard your heart and learn not to seek validation from strangers, because sometimes the people you envy the most are fighting demons you cannot see. And if there's one thing this story teaches, it's that true beauty will never need a giveaway. It comes from peace, purpose, and light that no designer dress can ever buy. I hope you enjoyed the story.